Hi, everyone. I admittedly, right, so I actually have a doctor's appointment in like 2.5 hours because I'm still sick. It didn't go away. So you're gonna hear me coughing and crap, and I apologize for that. But I really, really wanted to get this made. Just sooner than later, honestly, because I've just been I don't want to say enjoying reading it, but I've been really into it and reading through all the stuff. And there's just been a lot of questions that people have had, and so I just kind of thought this might be the easiest way to get through stuff, answer as many questions as I can, or at least help people try to find the truth, what's actually happening. And yeah, there are a lot of people that know of this situation, but then whenever I like posted, they're like, well, what's happening now? What's happening now? So this is kind of the all-in-one, here you go. Uh, yeah. Jason, Jason Lawrence Geiger. I'm gonna call it Geiger. I've heard Geiger. I honestly don't know how to actually pronounce his last name. In my head, I've always called it Geiger. So I'm sorry if that's not right. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Things in the chat. And Resilient Clips, thanks for having me on, man. Daniel, how are you? I'm getting there. I'll be better probably after a good round of antibiotics. Enigma that has a vibe. What's up? Heyo, I'm Negro and LeBron Fett. Thanks everybody for popping in. Yeah, I'm like right now, but it's cool. Let's go ahead and just take that. We'll take that part off. Again, since I only have 2 hours or whatever, we're just gonna kind of get straight into this. So, if you have questions, I guess that I can answer or can try to find for you, we will certainly get to those as well. So what I'm going to start with is this is the actual whoops, nope, that's not it. I scrolled up too far. This one, here we go. This is the actual indictment. Here it is. So this is actually, and people are like, well, what's he actually being charged with? This is it. And if you look on the watermark and stuff, Henry Resilient, he watermarked him because he got him. And when you're the one who pays for things, so if everybody's like, why not what? He paid for him. He went, he bought them, and then he graciously sent them to me so I could also read through them and use. I appreciate that. These are all like, you can get all these. I'm not showing you anything like you can't just go get. I can show you exactly where you can go. And you want to pay the, dollar or file or whatever it is, you can go get these yourself. So just want to make sure I also put that out there that no, nothing I'm streaming you is like going to get you in trouble. This isn't like illegal or anything like that. These are all things you can go get. And they're, of course, they're blacked out things. So if it's blacked out, then go. That's, I guess, what it was blacked out as. So here is the actual indictment. United States of America versus, these are all of the other people who are in it with him, all part of this, like, dude, what do you call it, like, grand conspiracy or something? Do you want to call it grand conspiracy? Excuse me. But here he is, and he's actually is AKA Austin St. John, AKA the Red Ranger. Filed, yep, May 12th, 20. Like the stream on the way in. I did that, thank you. So the indictment, United States Grand Jury. This is crazy. So these people, Michael Hill, Andrew Morin, are the ones kind of I don't want to say like the masterminds behind it, but they were the ones who I think kind of oversaw a lot of it, right? So these are, these go all the way back, like his older counts, like 2013, 2016. So Small Business Administration, the mission of it was to maintain and strengthen the nation's economy by enabling the establishment of viability of small businesses and by assisting in the economic recovery of communities after disaster. So with that, it was like, so what did he do, right? He took money from the government that he was not entitled to, and he did not even spend it like they wanted him to. That was the case, right? So we have the Paycheck Protection Program. With part of all the COVID stuff, the Paycheck Protection Program was basically to help out businesses who were struggling during COVID. This was to help cover, I'll go through exactly what it's supposed to cover. The authorization of forgivable loans to small businesses for job retention and certain other expenses through the PPP. You had to submit a loan application, which was signed by an authorized representative of the business, which it would have been ASJ. The loan application required the business to acknowledge the program rules and make certain affirmative certifications in order to be eligible. So the small business was required to state, among other things, average monthly payroll expenses and number of employees. These figures were used to calculate the money that they were eligible to get, and then the businesses were required to provide documentation showing their payroll expenses. It was participating lenders, so it was like other lenders out there were helping with these. So using its own monies were guaranteed by the Small Business Administration. So yeah, he actually willingly went through all of this, right? So here we go, count one. Just get it again, right to it, y'all. But if you do watch this, if you could hit like, I'd really appreciate it. So from approximately around May of 2020, so they were on this. It's not like they sat on this idea. Everything closed down in like March, right? In May, they're like, okay, let's do this. So the other ones are blacked out, but also, real quick, if you see notations on them, like in blue or all that, that was all from Henry Resilient. It was just all, it was already part of it. So if you laugh at any of the jokes, I can't take credit for it. All of the notes, like in blue and like these things you see, they were already all. So here we go. So all of these people, along with others, both known and unknown to the grand jury, did knowingly and willfully conspire and agree to commit wire fraud. Here we go. So Hill and Moran executed a scheme to defraud lenders of the Small Business Administration. He recruited co-conspirators using existing businesses or to create new ones, basically on this. They misrepresented material information, such as the true nature of their business, number of employees, and amount of payroll. Based on these, they approved and issued all of these loans and the fraudulent stuff. And so this is what the loans were actually supposed to do. They were supposed to pay employee salaries, cover fixed debt or utility payments, or continue healthcare benefits for employees. This was basically like, look, we're going to help you pay your employees. We're going to help you cover, if you got some debt, like if you have payments you need to make, and we're going to make sure your employees have healthcare. So instead, they got their money. They wrote a nice little check. I mean, they didn't write a check. They sent it electronically because wire fraud. And they sent a nice payment to the two that orchestrated. I mean, I wouldn't call it like an umbrella, but like they were up top. Everybody else was just parts of this, right? So I guess you can't even think that like he wasn't even the mastermind behind this. He just got involved in this and did shady stuff, but like he wasn't even in charge the whole time. What would he get that for? Because he sent them some money. So instead, the defendants typically paid the two who were like the overseers, gave them a cut. I think it was like $22,000 or something. I have the actual amounts of things later, so I'm not. So when I say I think it was about $22,000, like that isn't just out of my butt. Like I think it was around that much. So then they also, in other instances, sent the fraudulently obtained funds to someone else who's blacked out, who's guessing maybe it's the last name Spencer, for purported investments in foreign exchange markets. He was one of the people who acquired 16 loans for $3.5 million. This answers a question to some of y'all like, why would they let him travel? Uncle Sam wants his money back. Uncle Sam guaranteed those loans from other lenders. Those other lenders had it guaranteed. They got their money. Uncle Sam isn't going to let him get away. So if you think about it, they're going to be like, sure, you want to go to California for a con. It's in our government's, which is really crazy to say. It is in our government's best interest to send him to Power Morphicon because they want him to make some money because he wants that they want their money back. It's as simple as that. It's just crazy. So, the purpose of the conspiracy, general purpose, was to unlawfully and unjustly enrich themselves. I haven't even, popped up. Make sure my mic and everything. Okay. Still doing good. So here we go. How did they do it? They registered and used sham non-operational businesses or, in other instances, existing businesses. They submit their loans. They open bank accounts under the name and their businesses to receive, deposit, and transfer the PPP funds. The defendant submitted materially false applications, lying about, among other things, the number of employees and monthly payroll expenses. If you haven't heard already, if I had mentioned how many employees he said he had, drop it in the chat. Actually, I want to know, how many employees do you think Austin St. John actually has? And this is under his St. John Enterprises. That's what his company is called. You'll see that later. St. John Enterprises. How many employees do you think he really has, and how many employees do you think he said he has? Isn't he just self-employed? It's a good question mark. He has his own company. That's kind of what he runs, like his t-shirt. What he runs some of his stuff out of. Or maybe not even his t-shirts, because that is... that might be through fan word. Anyhow. So, they falsified blah blah blah. The defendants submitted the applications and accessed their PPP loans accounts using the internet, frequently from an IP address that resolved back to Morin's residence in Louisville, Texas, and the Eastern District. The defendants from 13 random places, they all submitted their loans, and they used all of them stuff, all frequently from one IP address. What do y'all know about IP addresses? Have you ever accidentally been banned from something because of your IP address? And you're like, what? Maybe it was a roommate, maybe it was someone, maybe it was in the building. It's crazy. So, you don't use a VPN. Oh my god. Do y'all know anything about... Yeah, Henry, use a VPN. Oh my god. Like, at least use a VPN from the area of Texas or whatever you say you're from. Go to the Starbucks and use the Wi-Fi, for God's sake, dude. The defendants used the PPP funds for unauthorized personal purposes, including cash withdrawals, gold and silver purchases, luxury jewelry items, and vehicles. So yeah, then once they got their money, like AJ got his money, he had to pay a portion of it to the co-conspirators who were running everything, you know. And then they sent some to people who try to invest in foreign exchange markets. I don't know. I don't know actually more about like where foreign investments. I heard one of them like had sent some to Australia, but that could have been one of like 13 people. So I'm not like I can't even throw Australia to ASJ, but that was I think one of them. So I know how to clear an ISP address. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the dumb stuff. Like, why would one IP address have, and especially if it was like a residence. It'd be one thing if it was a crazy IP address, if it was in like an industrial park, right? Maybe if it was in a stack and there was like 100 businesses there. Maybe they could even get away with someone came in and tried to teach us and show us how to do it. God, you are so dumb. And I'm not just talking to one person. I just mean all of them. Like, y'all dumb. Like, I apologize. I'm sick. So, it was a computer remote. It was the... Y'all been seeing the stuff from Evident Print, the Drake? Maybe that is what's on the PC. Maybe that's what's on the PC, guys. It isn't Drake, Kendrick stuff. Maybe it's all the secret PvP. Maybe. Sorry, that's been the other thing I've been, like, obsessing over in my head right now. So, yeah. And basically, why is that bad? And then they caused transmissions that affected interstate commerce by sending wire transfers and accessing all of their stuff online. That's how they get you for wire fraud. So, here we go. Cord Newman. This was... Misuse. Trying to get down to his... Oh, okay. So, Hill's account. So, Hill. Okay. About June 24th, approximately one day after obtaining the PPP loan, Newman wired more than half of the funds, approximately $140,000 to Hill. So, Lisa's like, yeah, he got his stuff. Hill's account 2 days later, about June 26th. Saban wired approximately $22,600 to Morin's account, but neither Hill nor Morin were actually employees of his business, so they shouldn't have been getting any of this. And then once in receipt of Cord Newman's global PPP funds, Hill transferred that money along with other ones to maybe Spencer account for investment in purported foreign exchange market specifically. This is so, yeah. Between on or about June 23rd, 2020 and July 2nd, a few of the people, transferred a total of approximately $421,000 to Hill's account. And then they combined it with the other, sent all of this to one other account. Less than 3 weeks later, he wired approximately, and again, I'm saying he, there is a blank here if you're following along. If you're just listening, if I say he, please don't assume I'm talking about JDF. Or JDF, oh my god, no, I'm sorry. Somebody said something on Twitter yesterday, and I've had JDF on the brain a lot. Rest in peace, man. So I'm sorry if I keep saying anything about JDF. He's been on my mind a lot lately. You know, like how much it hit me when he passed. So wired approximately $1.4 million to the account Commonwealth Bank of Australia in Sydney. So this was all sourced by other ones. Here we go. On or about June 17th, 2022, Jason Geiger obtained a PPP loan for approximately $225,754 for St. John Enterprises. Once, or of the funds obtained, he sent, there was, $22,579 to Morin. And he invested $170,000. Still missing $33,000, by the way. But I mean, that's gotta get your beak wet, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, but here's all the other ones. You know, like this guy, dude, he only paid off $5,000. How about that? So here's all of this one. This guy, by the way, we will talk about him. Hatley, right here, he did plead guilty on it, and his was for $184,000 Jolly Roofing and Construction. His IP address went back to Morin, and he used $69,000 to purchase a vehicle. He is honestly, of all of them, I know this sounds weird, his is like the most, I don't even want to say understandable. I get you lie, like that's all, like it's all shit, but he at least, like, he had a construction company, and I feel like $69,000, like he got himself like a Ford 250, right? Like that could have been a work truck. Like he legit could have used it to buy a work vehicle and stuff, and just he wasn't supposed to have done that. You know, maybe he had to give someone else. I mean, he's made cash withdrawals, but like it doesn't even look like he paid off the people. So I know it sounds weird, but the guy who pled guilty, I kind of feel like he had the easiest case of like, look, I'm gonna take this and whatever. Yeah, they have to, man. So here's the other ones. If you want, made luxury purchases, Louis Vuitton. This person just money to a personal bank account. Here is the chart below summarizing all of it. St. John Enterprises, Jason Geiger, $225,754. There it is, all in the indictment in lump sum. In sum, the defendants obtained at least 16 loans fraudulently, drawing on at least $3.5 million of funds that were earmarked for emergency pandemic relief. That's one of the things that got me. Like, he's so, like, America and whatever, and he seems like the big patriot guy, right? And he was an EMT, and he's in the Middle East, and that just sucks. There were so many communities that could have been helped with $3.5 million. How many meals that could have fed people? You know, how many free clinics could have helped with like health services? $3.5 million. Like, again, that's just one of them. It just irks me. Like, for what? For what, man? You made some foreign investments. Like, I hope you can keep them. Oh wait, here's the rest of it. Notice of intent to seek criminal forfeiture. The allegations contained in Count 1 are hereby realleged and incorporated by reference as though fully set forth herein. Oh my god, I don't even want to pretend I knew what all those words together meant. for the purpose of alleging forfeitures, blah, 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 upon conviction of any violation. So, he has pled guilty to this. He has pled guilty. Upon conviction, so I'm not sure if this is like when he gets sentenced, is that his conviction? I am not a lawyer. I am not anyone close to this. Like, so, I'm reading to you the facts that I have in front of me. Upon his conviction, the defendant shall forfeit to the United States any property, real or personal, that constitutes or is derived from proceeds traceable to a violation of any offense constituting specified unlawful activity. This is the... Oh, shit. Because, like, I own a home. I have a family. So I don't even want to, like, be saying this out of spite. If he used that to pay mortgage payments, they could take his house. Like, that's what he's looking at. Depends how much his house is worth. It also probably, you know, what else can he come up with? I'm sure he could sell other stuff. But that's a really scary thing. It doesn't matter what he rents. There you go. But I was like, you know, they're very serious things. He also says he's like a dad. I honestly did not know he had a kid. So that's... yeah, I don't pay much attention to him. But, yeah, anything he bought with that money is gone. The property, which is subject to forfeiture, includes, but not limited to, all funds subject to forfeiture and bank accounts, receiving a money judgment and all interest and proceeds, traceable thereto, representing the proceeds of the offenses. It's gonna be tough when they just toss it off seas, but... and, pursuant, blah, 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 if any of the forfeitable property or any portion thereof as a result of any act or omission of the defendant cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence or has been transferred or sold to or deposited with third party, has been placed, blah, 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 the jurisdiction, has been substantially diminished in value, has been commingled with other things. It is the intent of the United States to seek the forfeiture of other property of the defendants up to the value of the above described forfeiture properties, including but not limited to any identical properties in the name of the defendants. Okay, so, of the defendants, a house, okay, he rents, he doesn't have that. He got a car, they take the car. He has a lot of memorabilia. If the government, I mean, if the car, if the whatever, if he can't come up with enough, and they want money, and they can just take your property to sell, that would be so effed up if they, like, took Ranger memorabilia because they knew it would be worth it. Could you imagine, like, buying his stuff from, like, a government auction? That's, I don't know. And these are all, like, it could, like, any identifiable property in the name, if they know it's his and they know it's worth money, that is, okay. We are almost done. But yeah, this is just his right here. Penalty, imprisonment of up to 20 years, a fine of up to $250,000. If the violation affected a financial institution, imprisonment of up to 30 years, a fine up to $1 million, or both. And a special assessment of $100. So next time you see him at a convention, you gotta get the photo and the autograph so you can cover both of those. Okay? So that was the indictment. It's... That was just the indictment, folks. Whenever I said that was it, like... Nobody came to his defense, man. He didn't. It's crazy. Shout out, 24 of you in here. Thank you guys so much. I haven't done a live stream in, like, 6 months. I live on Twitch, but not on YouTube. So, later, this was May 20th. This was when, there he is, you follow the red dots. And you got y'all. He knows where your eyes need to go, right there. Oh, also, I don't, because I wasn't the one who bought and have all of them. I can't hover over to the thing for, like, more info. Like, as you can see, like, McColvin pops up. But there are annotations, man. Geiger, here we go. So, it lasted 14 minutes on May 18th. The initial appearance, arraignment, defendants are all sworn in, because it's a whole bunch of them. Defendants were advised of their charges, advised of maximum penalties, waived reading of indictment. So they just don't want to, they're like, we already know what it is, we don't. So Geiger is 5. He was retained, like his attorney was retained and stuff. Here we go. Defendant Geiger enters a plea of not guilty to count 1, which is all of them. It's just 1 criminal count. So, yeah, all of this, defendants remain to, I don't even know, USM. I think that's just, they got out. Like, they didn't have to go to jail or anything like that. But so, for the record, let the record show, pled not guilty on the 18th. Now we're jumping forward and all the way to November. So, waiver of personal appearance at arraignment and entry of plea of not guilty. So, and this is just his, by the way. So this only applies to Austin right here. That's why I keep saying Jay, because it's Jason in here. Then if I say Jason, I keep wanting to say like JDF. So ASJ, blah blah blah, along with his undersigned attorney, hereby acknowledges the defendant has received a copy of the first superseding indictment of the case. That was the thing we read out before. Understands the nature, substance of the charges, maximum penalties, his constitutional rights. He understands all that. He understands he has the right to appear personally with his attorney. Defendant, having conferred with his attorney, blah, 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 tenders his plea of not guilty. The defendant understands that entry by the court of said plea for defendant will conclude the arraignment, in this case, for all purposes. The defendant understands that he has the right to a minimum period of time prior to trial, so that the trial shall not commence less than 30 days from the date on which the defendant first appears through counsel or expressly waives counsel and elects to proceed pro se. Don't go pro se. So, that basically meant he can change his mind, though, if they give him a deal. I gotta say, I cannot... My first grader might have better handwriting than his attorney. Oh, man. This is why you pay the attorneys... You pay the attorney for their brain, right? Not for the signature. Not for the signature. It's like the doctor. The handwriting ain't good. You pay him because he knows the medicine, not because he writes good. So, yeah. Approved by the court. Plea of not guilty is effective. Signed 6th day of November. Here you go. United States Magistrate Court. So, he pled not guilty. Then what happened? Yo, we have jumped ahead. That was 20... Oh, there you go. Is that these out of order? Oh, first superseding indictment. I'll screen through this real quick because it might have more stuff. But yeah, this is the indictment. Some of this might just be more on... Let me go up real quick. I have so many PDFs open right now. It's like, what is going on? Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this one is just way less marked off. Okay, the defendant sent stuff to Jonathan Spencer. Oh. Purpose of all of it. All the stuff I was reading through before. It's a blacked out. The defendant submitted their applications and accessed their PPP loans using the internet frequently and from the IP address. They result back to Warren's house. Y'all so dumb. Same IP address was also tied to loans for the following co-conspirators. Oh, wait, hold on. So, falsely stated the business had 9 employees, 90,000. In support of the application, Newman submitted documentation such as voided checks, IRS Schedule C forms, and invoices. However, it was all false and fabricated, as the invoices contained basic errors, such as references to Ford Wellborn Global instead of an actual business name, Ford Newman Global. A template was used. So, yeah, wired the money. It all went to... It's like, it's just crazy. Got the money, sent it all out. They got their money. They sent it back. They sent a lot of funds around. There you go. June 17th. Obtained his loan. Sent that money out. Man. This one. Spencer. 10,000 for himself. Paid co-conspirators. Yeah. For Newman. Oh, here we go. Conspiracy to commit money laundering. So there we go. There's another one, too. Because they did. I mean, they took the money and then they sent it somewhere else. They sent it somewhere else. Proceeds not pertain to PPP. In excess of $10,000. Oh, here we go. So here's the wire stuff. $100,000 wire transfer to Hill. Description of transactions excess of $10,000. And then, of course, thank you for adding that in. The $22,000 more, of course. He also did have to send that. Like I said, Ford Newman is a friend. I sent you. Let me go pop up my Discord real quick. Oh, yeah. Thank you for sending me that. So, yeah. Ford and NASJ. Pop this up real quick. Dude, by the way, Kentucky Jam, like, his name is Josh. Actual reporter in real life. He normally does, like, sports reporting and stuff. So, who's Cord Newman? That guy! They actually do know each other. And, they've known each other for a while, obviously, because that was in 2017. But there were pictures of them together, like, when this was happening. There are current pictures of them together. It's crazy. I'm blocked, though, actually. Austin St. John blocked me. I can't see his Twitter anymore. Of course, if I just swapped over to the Ranger Weekend Review account, I could, but actually, I don't care that much anymore. Yeah, they were all in cahoots. So if you want to know, yeah, poor Norman, like, he totally knows him. I mean, he's a stunt guy. Maybe he took too many blocks to the head. I don't know. Ooh, Elmer? One of their names is Elmer? Come on, man. So then Spencer was the one who was getting a bunch of the money. They sent it all to him, because, again, trying to launder it. Well, why block you? Because I was talking about his case. He didn't like that I was like, oh, what the hell? So, the allegations contained in courts 1 and 2 are re-alleged, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So this is what I was talking before. They're gonna get their money. Like, that's what they want. They want their money at the end of the day. So, waiver, this was his thing. He pled not guilty. And here we go. So here's an update. This was an update that they had. This was recent. No, this was like April 30th. So now we're getting into the last 3-4 things, right? Yeah, ASJ blocked a ton of people. Which is like, I mean, you can block us all you want. Like, I wasn't really retweeting your stuff anyway, because you aren't really on Twitter. But no. I would say you'd think you'd want to, like, be nice to the people who could try to sway the public's opinion, but I'm not that popular, and I don't think he's that smart. Then again, that's also probably why he wouldn't want to talk to me. Loan fraud. Yeah. Yeah, they're in cahoots. Oh, Derp, thank you. By the way, I'll go back up to this. This is the one. June 18th, 2020. What day did he get that loan again? Did it all pop through? June. On or about June 20th. Where were they together? June 18th, 2 days before. They were hanging out. That's a nice car. He got there too. Probably wants to keep that, huh? That's nuts. They've been August. So that was before the loan. This is after. So they already got their money at this point. Money's being sent, yada yada. August 29th. Yep, there they are. Hanging out, man. Like, you can't even be like, I don't even know him. You do. Also, I really apologize that, like, I had my DMs up and people could see that. I'm embarrassed. I apologize. I don't know if I'm gonna try to block all that. Anywho, and some friends. Plea negotiation, blah, blah, blah. We already did this. No, here we go. Plea negotiations. Several of the pending defendants will plead guilty. So this was in advance of the May 2nd one, right? They're still pretty awesome. Blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to pop up, like, there we go. So the United States engaged in substantive plea negotiations with all counsel without identifying specifics for counsel because, again, this was happening. This was May, well, in advance of the May 2nd one. So this is the very end of April. That, hey, at least 5 will proceed to trial, but the rest of them are probably going to be pleading. So, have filed continuances for additional time to discovery. Government's taken no position. Courts, yada yada. After conferring with counsel and considering that counsel for the government has multiple specialty sets. Basically, this is just saying, like, look, for those of you who still want a trial, we're gonna grant you a continuance because we can't even get to this crap till next year. So that's that. Here it is, y'all. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Filed May 1st. The government and the defendant, Jason Lawrence Geiger, Jason Lawrence Geiger has entered into a plea agreement in relation to the pending charges. They sent this May 1st. So yeah, they say, yep, he got a plea agreement. Kent, Henry made it, but like, is jail time coming? I'm gonna take a break before I read all this. Case number 4:22CR110, Judge Kernoodle. You were charged in count 1 of the first superseding indictment with a violation of 18 U.S.C. 1349, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The essential elements, which must be proven to establish the offense, are as follows. That you agreed with one or more persons to commit wire fraud, that you knew the unlawful purpose of the agreement, and third, that you joined the agreement with the intent to further the unlawful purpose. Respectfully submitted, the United States Attorney. I hereby certify that a copy of this document has been served on counsel electronically. I sent it to him. And a change of plea. Here we go. From 2:51 to 3:12 p.m. on the 6th, the day that, yes, I was actually waiting. I was refreshing. I was trying to get information on this. He had a change of plea. Case was called. The defendant was sworn in. Change of plea. Defendant appeared with counsel and signed consent to administration of guilty. Defendant acknowledged satisfaction with representative of counsel. So basically, he said his lawyer was fine. He's not like mad at his lawyer or anything. Waived the reading of the indictment information. The USA stated essential elements. The defendant acknowledged understanding and committing the essential elements. Reviewed plea agreement with defendant. Defendant advised of constitutional rights. The stated range of penalty. Defendant advised of rights regarding the plea deal. Reviewed factual basis. Wasn't even a statement of fact, the factual basis. And then entered plea of guilty to count 1 of the first superseding indictment. Count will recommend district attorney accept plea of guilty. Court finds plea is voluntary, knowledgeable, and has basis in fact. Defendant and then to remain on conditions of release. So that is, he is out on bond right now. So that was COD, conditions of release. Woo. And here's a SIG, man. So for now, if anyone's like, hey, what did he actually do? What did whatever? There you go. There you go. Some paperwork did get filed with AKA the Red Ranger, yes. Yeah. So, some do. Some don't, but some do. So, here he goes. He went in. I am aware of my right to appear in open court and to be addressed personally by a United States District Judge when I enter my guilty plea. I hereby knowingly, voluntarily, and with advice of counsel waive my right to enter my guilty plea before a district judge, and I consent to have a U.S. magistrate judge hear, accept, and bind me to my guilty plea. To make all appropriate fact findings and determinations required by law, including findings as to whether I am, 1, fully competent, capable of entering an informed plea, so just seem mentally fit to stand. I'm aware of the nature of the charges and consequences of my plea. He knows he messed up. He is aware of what he was being charged with. He is aware of the consequences of what he is pleading for. My plea of guilty is a knowing and voluntary plea. And, so, I'm doing this knowingly, voluntarily. I'm not being coerced into this. My plea of guilt is supported by an independent basis in fact, containing each of the essential elements of the offense. So, he got caught. It's supported by an independent basis. The essential, he got it. They got him. They understand and agree that A, upon conviction, sentences will be conducted by the United States District Judge, and B, substantive or procedural concerns about my guilty plea proceedings before the magistrate judge are subject to de novo review. So I guess just it can still be looked at by a review. And sign May 6th. And there it goes. And no, I did not write that, but that is funny. They gotta sing. Did they have to pay $80? I don't know. Like, yeah. So for anyone, it is, man, black and white. Take the screen grab if you want, whatever. He's willingly saying, yeah, I know, I did this. Oh, here's, I mean, this even kind of before, but who's entering a blah, 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 factual basis. Oh, this is the factual basis whenever they were saying, like, he's agreeing that this was the factual basis. Jason Lawrence Geiger is entering a plea of guilty, same person charged. So he's like, I am the person you are charging. The events and conduct described occurred, yes, willfully conspired with others, including Morin and Newman, to defraud or obtain money. ASJ acted with the intent to defraud and joined in the agreement as part of the scheme. ASJ and his conspirators performed the following acts: used his business to get stuff, submitted a materially false one, transferred blah blah blah, caused wire transmissions. Financial loss responsibly foreseeable to him was approximately $225,000. And yeah, I mean, I have read this and discussed. I fully understand the contents and agree without reservation. It accurately describes the events and my acts. And all that's left, or to quote the garbage, it's all over but the crying. Which can be a lot of different ways. Like, him crying, us crying. I've had so many. You have to separate the actor from the role. Jesus Christ. I've been posting crap online for like almost 10 years. Like, yeah, I know. I know, man. I still like Ninja Storm Red. I don't mean I like Pua. You can think the Samurai's Mentor G was cool, but don't you dare be talking about how that man was a good person. Like, it's just not how it works. You have to separate them. But also, what I was saying in that, yes, Jason, absolutely, Jason is hero of Red Ranger. And as much as you separate them, part of that has to, when you see Jason, see Austin St. John's face. When I see my Jason stuff, see Austin St. John's face. And you do have to separate that. But I don't know. Austin St. John, as himself, was also a hero to people. Because after he got out, you know, I say to the Middle East, he did his stuff over there. He was an EMT. That in and of itself made people look up to Austin St. John as a hero. For a while, I kind of did too, you know. He first came back, oh man, if I had the picture, I was cheesing. I was practically in tears when I met him. About 2014 maybe? I think about 2014. Then I met him. Somewhere between 2013 and 2015. I had the biggest smile on my face. He was my hero. He did the art. He was an EMT. He was trying to help make the world a better place. I think that combined with the part that, you know, you looked up to him as a kid. Like, that's what really hurts. Like, I'm just disappointed. Like, you ever just be like, I felt better of you, man. Like, I'm really disappointed in you. I really am. I mean, you want to be all blah blah, you want to seem like a big patriot and ish, and then you just steal from the government like that. And that was an accidental. Like, it's flat out fraud, money laundering, and wire transfers. I don't know. It's crazy. So here's this the last thing, I guess, or like the last at least document, and then we can just keep talking about this. Oh, you know what? I'll pull it up. I never answered that question of excuse me. How many people does he have on his payroll? And I'm gonna see if I can get my bookmarks to only show up. Oh no, here we go. Oh, give me just 1 second because I do want to find it. My bookmarks. I just gotta look for this. What? Oh, come on. No, it's just being a butt now, because it's like, hey, you've accessed a lot of these files lately, so it doesn't want to say. Whatever, it was 10. It was 10. He said his payroll was $225,000, and that he had 10 employees. If I find it, I will bring it up, so I can actually... Is that not corporations? No. Well, this is his, Oh, I can't copy. Open corporations. Again, anything you can look up. But, Austin St. John Enterprises, if you're wondering what's his... Whatever. I do find it, like... I don't know. Filing... Update... Recent filings? Annual report 3 months ago. Can't read that. More annual reports. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't like me. Was it ProPublica? Yeah, this is what it's... Oh, there we go. Yeah. So, what, Yeah. Turn to the dark side, I don't know. Here you go, location, McKinney, Texas, which is interesting. So this is St. John Enterprises, but then there was also the Austin St. John Enterprises, which is... I'm not 100% sure. Maybe that isn't even him. I'll close that. So about the Austin St. John, maybe it's just St. John Enterprises. Because that other one that I just looked up was, it was saying it was in Tennessee. Again, free, ProPublica, tracking the PPP. Every company approved for federal loans. McKinney, Texas, Austin St. John. Cabbage Inc. Cabbage was so that's the person who really wants their money back. Motion picture and video production. First round, man, June 16th. It got approved. Self-employed individuals. This was it. This is literally where the applicant said the money will go. Payroll. You couldn't even lie. You couldn't, like... Anyhow. Yeah. So there was that. So just did want to make sure I had all my facts. Do not want to be saying untrue information on here. This is why I'm trying very much speak very, very factual about what I have in front of me. So yeah, there we go. There's his loan amount. There's his 10 jobs reported, where it will go to. And again, this is all public, so you can go check that out. Oof. Oh, yeah, so this blah, blah, blah. The defendant, him, buying through his counsel, blah, 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 is basically saying ASJ's job requires him to travel to various locations and around the country to take part in conventions and exhibitions As part of his conditions of his pretrial release, he is permitted to travel freely within the state of Texas, but requires permission to travel outside of the state. Now, the ability to travel outside of Texas, he would lose his primary ability to provide financially for his family. I have never heard him talking about his family before. But I mean, I guess I also don't really listen to him much. Honest guy, no idea. He have a wife and kids? Like, I had no idea. Anywho, he requests the court to travel to Atlanta. That is Ranger Stop and Pop right there. June 20th to June 24th. And then it says, unopposed motion. The person says, I confer, blah, blah, blah. Nobody is opposed to this. I also confer with blah, blah, blah. They're all unopposed. So, it is true, correct to the copy, foregoing, everything's fine. So, yeah. It is therefore ordered that the defendant be allowed to travel from the destinations, but he also is further ordered that the defendant shall provide all travel details to his pretrial officer prior to his travel. So, which makes me wonder is, when is his next court date going to be for sentencing? Because, does this mean he's going to be able to do... I mean, if they're already saying, yeah, you can go to Ranger Stop, I can't imagine them saying he's going to be sentenced between here and then, right? However, they could sentence him and he not have to turn himself in for 6 months. It's the law system. It's all screwed up, right? So, yeah, so he can go, that's all... As long as, he has to give him his details and stuff, but why? They want their money back. And if he can't leave, he can't provide for his family. And if he can't provide for his family, he's just gonna end up a broke bum, and then they gotta have to deal with it. It's just better that they let him make his money. It's gonna be up to us as fans, and you as an individual. I'm speaking directly to you. Yes, you. Put the bagel down. Well past breakfast. I don't know what time zone you're in. Anywho, but yeah, it'll be up to you as an individual of what you want to do with this information. If you want to keep supporting them, if you want to block them, if you want them to be at conventions out of spite just because you don't want people to go to his booth, and whatever your opinion is on this, that is fine, and you can have your own opinion. This is all just the facts. This is the facts in black and white. So, we have one person did a guilty plea. So this is just the real quick of what this person got. Okay? So this person did plead guilty. It was the person I talked about at the very beginning. Fitzgerald Hadley, guilty of 1 count of indictment. Whatever. So he pled guilty to it. He was the one that I was talking about. Had a construction company and actually bought like a truck. Or bought like an expensive vehicle. Now, if he bought like a freaking, used Corvette or something, then screw him. But if you bought a truck for it, I just like, Anywho, he pled guilty. Accepted by the court. Court 1. Blah, blah, blah. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud. There's a date on it. So, date of imposition of judge, May 2nd. This person is being imprisoned for a total term of 6 months. So, 6 months this person is getting, and they only, theirs was what? It wasn't as much. It was like 100 and some K. I don't really want to go back all the way through it, but whenever I first went through it, also, it was less. It was maybe, let's say, 175,000. But, he guilty. He pled guilty. He is going to jail for 6 months. This was... Oh, okay. So this was actually... Yeah. So this was filed May 3rd. Right? He has to surrender himself by... Now, I don't know if he can surrender himself early. I'm not that familiar with the court system. I mean, thank God, I guess. But he has to be in jail by June 19th. However, it's at 6 months. That puts him home for Christmas. So, if this guy pled out on May 2nd. May 2nd, filed on the 3rd. And he pled on the 6th? I mean, could we be looking at if he pled on the 3rd? Yeah, that's like, I'm not raw right now. Yeah. He pled on the 3rd, but he gotta be in by June 19th. So a month and a half. So basically, if he gotta go to jail, I mean, if he gotta go to jail in a month and a half, looking at, I mean, June, that Ranger Stop and Pop could be like his last shebang. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Because if he did his a week before, let's say he has to be in jail, you know, by June 19th. A week after June 19th is the 26th, and that is the Wednesday after Ranger Stop and Pop. So, keep that in your mind. But yeah, I mean, this is a federal thing. So this guy is, the court recommends he just go to, like, it's a low security prison. Further recommended that the defendant in the Inmate Financial Responsibility Program, in accordance with the requirements of the program, if the defendant participates, the defendant shall pay 50% of earnings per pay period to the defendant's outstanding monetary penalties. So not just you gotta go to jail, and you're gonna be there for 6 months, but every pay period, we get 50%. And I'm not sure, again, with this Inmate Financial Responsibility Program, maybe that's like a job and maybe they're going to say 50% of that. We'll see. We shall see, we shall see. The rest of the stuff, again, this is someone else's. This is Gregory Fitzgerald Hatley Jr. This is somebody who pled guilty a week before he did-ish, who also laundered less money. So, this guy is going to be on probation for 3 years. So let's say he does just get 6 months jail, 3 years probation. There's some interesting things in this. He can't commit another federal, state, or local crime. Must not unlawfully possess a controlled substance. Which, I mean, yes. I mean, like, if he legit had, like, you know, like, I'm on Adderall, but I legit have ADHD and I have a script for it. So it's like, that's a controlled substance, but it's okay. But he would still be on that if he was on medication. I don't know if weed's legal in Texas or not. I would assume it's not. So that stinks. However, luckily from him, well, again, this might not be for him, but for this other person, that the above drug test condition is suspended based on, well, low risk of a future substance abuse. So he may or may not have to do a drug test. You must make restitution in accordance or any other statute authorizing a sentence of restitution. So again, you must pay. Cooperate in collection of DNA as directed by the probation officer. So basically, we're going to get your prints. We're going to get you everything on file. So just in case you do something in the future, we're going to know. And then, oh yeah, so that's all sex offender and domestic violence. No, I didn't do none of that. I mean, at least they have some standards. They stole money for the government, but it wasn't that. Like, they didn't do that. So like this person, again, report to your probation office in the federal where you are authorized to reside within 72 hours of release. Basically, just as soon as you get out, you got at least 3 days. Get yourself in. Go check in with your PO. You know, you'll receive instructions, blah, blah, blah. You're always going to have to answer truthfully. You must live at a place approved by your probation officer. If you move or anything, you got to notify him before 10 days. I mean, this is a lot of stuff that, like, I don't think it's really going to affect him, you know. Allow them to visit you at any time or elsewhere, and you must permit the probation officer to take any items prohibited by the conditions of your supervision. So that'd be interesting. This right here. You must work full-time, at least 30 hours per week at a lawful type of employment, unless the probation officer excuses you from doing so. So, I guess, unless the probation officer excuses you so. I mean, I guess, like, if you, for some reason, like, you can't, but you must work full-time at least 30 hours a week. Will they consider, and this is all has been under my assumption, that they will say, yes, conventions are at least a lawful time. They're lawful. It's just how you have to call them, you know, like, he's not getting his money illegally, he's going somewhere. It's a lawful type of employment, at least 30 hours a week. If he says, you know, if he does one convention a week, and, you know, you got to consider he's going to be at his table for at least, like, 10 hours and everything else, he could probably say, you know, and then with all of his other business stuff, maybe like his cameos or whatever, he could probably say that's 30 hours a week. I get that. It is a lawful type of employment. So I hopefully, fingers crossed, I mean, that goes for him. If you do not have full-time employment, you must try to find full-time employment unless they excuse you from doing so. If you plan to change where you work or anything about your work, such as your profession or job, you have to notify your PO at least 10 days. If notifying at least 10 days in advance is not possible, you must notify them at least within 72 hours of becoming aware of an unexpected change. So, this is another fun one. All of those people that he's friends with, you must not communicate or interact with someone you know is engaged in criminal activity. If you know someone has been convicted of a felony, you must not knowingly communicate or interact with that person without first getting the permission of the probation officer. He has to ask for permission to go hang out with his friends now. They're all buddies. They're all going to be convicted felons. He's going to have to ask for permission to go hang out with his friends. Legally. Wow. Wow, buddy. Wow. You went from giant old auditoriums, people listening to your panels. And if you want to go hang out with Cord Norman again, or whatever, more legally, you have to get the permission of your PO. Also, if you're arrested or questioned by a law enforcement officer, you have to notify your PO within 72 hours. Alright, whatever. This is gonna hurt him. And I do not mean physically, I mean, like, it's gonna hurt his soul. If you must not own, possess, or have access to a firearm, ammunition, destructive device, or dangerous weapon. Anything that was designed or was modified for the specific purpose of causing bodily injury or death to another person, such as nunchucks or tasers. He got a 900-year-old katana, as he put. His whole thing, like, guns and whatever. All of this. Yo, like, this, because the first time I said it, I was like, dude, this is gonna kill him. And then I realized, I was like, okay, not like that, you know? So if I say something like that, I don't mean like he's actually gonna get, like, off, like, anything like that. I just mean, like, it's gonna hurt his heart. That's gonna hurt his soul. Okay? He can't possess one. He can't have access to one. And having access also means I don't think he can have them in the house. So, like, if he had one of his buddies living with him, he can't have guns. He can't have nunchucks. This guy's a martial arts guy. He can't have a sword. What? All this stuff about protecting your family, and then you do a federal like this? That's harsh. Then, you must not act or make any agreement with law enforcement agency to act as a confidential human source or informant without getting permission of the court. So if he's going to talk to anybody, he wants to try to get out more information, if he wants to try to, like, plea for a lesser deal, but maybe given something else, like, he's got to talk for, like, he can't just go, like, hey, I'm going to give you this information or whatever. He got to talk to the court first. And then this, again, other stuff. I'm just skimming over the things that, like, I don't worry about him as much, but, like, if they determine you pose a risk to another person, they may require you to notify the person about the risk, and you have to comply with that instruction. Yeah, follow the instructions. So, like, yeah, this is stuff. This was someone else's. I gotta make sure I say that again. His could be different. I am simply giving you the conditions and everything that somebody is getting who pled guilty in part, like, who was in the same part of his case, to basically the same damn thing. So, basically, these are special conditions, you know, because for every special, you know, every case is a little different. He's got to provide the PO with access to any requested financial information for purposes of monitoring restitution payments and employment. You must not incur new credit charges or open additional lines of credit without the approval of your PO unless payment of any financial obligation order, unless it's all been paid. So until you pay off everything, you can't even open up new lines of credit. And then you must not apply directly or indirectly for any loan and or grant program funded by the United States government without the approval of your PO. So don't ever come running to us again for this. You better be like, you're going to have to get your PO to sign off if you're ever going to do this again. Like, yeah. So here was his, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, this guy. I was saying about 175, 184. There you go. I can't remember exact numbers, but I can remember general numbers. So, yeah, the defendant must make restitution, including community restitution, to the following payees. They are, however, like in this one, they're waiving the interest. They deny the ability to pay, and is ordered that, yeah, the interest requirement is waived for the restitution. But this is great. Like, his lump sum payments is due in accordance with all of this. Defendant shall pay, blah, 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 $100, which is fine. You gotta pay that immediately. And then any monetary penalty that remains unpaid when your supervision commences is to be paid on a monthly basis at a rate of at least 10% of your gross income. So at least 10% of everything he gets is going to the government. Percentage of gross income to be paid with respect to restitution is to be changed during supervision if needed based on your changed circumstance. So at least they're going to be like, look, stuff changes, we will work with you. They don't care, they just want their money, they'll work with you. If you receive an inheritance, any settlements, gifts, tax refunds, bonuses, lawsuit awards, any other receipt of money, you must within 5 days of receipt apply 100% of the value of such resources to any financial penalty order. None of the payment terms imposed preclude or prohibit the government from enforcing the unpaid balance of the restitution or monetary penalties imposed herein. So, this was someone else's, but if you go by what they got versus what they did, I could see him very, very much getting something similar. If they don't want to give him more, I get, because, like, at some point there's name notoriety in it that maybe they're like, we know you're not, now that everybody's watching you, you're like a public figure. Maybe they're only going to give him like 6 months. Maybe because he did more, they'll give him a year. No idea. Maybe they'll just give him a slap on the wrist and only like 3 years probation. Who knows with the court system. But we can at least look to one case out of this, out of the whole thing. 422 CR 00110, the whole big old court document. That's that's where that is. So, man, what do y'all think? His convention appearances now free? Like, anything he gets. Because, like, let's say he wants to go to PMC and he's like, man, I got like a $50,000 fee to get me there. Maybe he'd do a couple conventions and he's guaranteed that. Maybe. But, yeah, man. As received, proved by the court, not guilty. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Change of appeal, or change of plea. There he is. I enter my guilty plea. So, what do you think, y'all? 6 months at Club Fed, they're only going to take 10% of his earnings. But if everybody collectively says nah thanks, like, his earnings is going to be, man. I'm praying he doesn't go to PMC. It's going to be crazy. But, like, yeah, I mean, I've seen people that are like, ASG should be barred from Morphicon. Like, it's, yeah, this is all just be, it's nuts. So can felons go to Canada? Are you gonna be able to even work in Canada? Can you work outside the United States? It's gonna, and I mean that, like, what other countries are like, you can't come in if you're a convicted felon? Like, there might be other places he legitimately cannot go travel anymore. That's crazy. This man's life, he threw away. He like, the life he knew. I'm not gonna say, like, the life he knew, he threw away. So I hope that investments, I hope whatever you got, that 3 years of having fun with all that money. I hope it was worth it, because from now on, you gotta, for at least 3 years, you got a probation officer. You've got, you can't have guns anymore, man. You can't have nunchucks. You can't have swords. All this stuff. You can't have access? Like, what's this gonna do if he wants to do a movie? I'm assuming if he's doing a movie, they'd, like, sign off, right? If it's his job, they'd probably let him, like, do stuff. Right? He can't go to Canada. There we go. I had an itch on my arm, and I don't know how that goes. It's disappointing, man. That you already were... Your reputation was already getting spotty, right? And then it was getting bad because of all this, and, you know, but you were like, I'm innocent. And then the Hitler shirt, and then now you're guilty. And, man, if you just, I don't know, man. Pull your bootstraps up like the rest of us had to. That's the line. I don't know. That's a joke. That's pulling yourself up by bootstraps in this day and age is the freaking joke. But yeah, I'm just disappointed, man. Brian, like, I get that. Like, you were so many people's heroes, man. And whether that is as Jason, whether that is at Austin St. John, the EMT, he was a lot of people's heroes. So it's going to be a lot of wondering and questioning of how it's going to end. But, you know, at the end of the day, once we get his sentencing, we'll have a little bit better idea. But he is now a convicted felon, or he will be, whatever, convicted felon. It's... Your whole life is changed, and you could have... Use a VPN. Do it yourself. Put more in your loan other than $225 just going to payments. Make up some other stuff. I mean, I guess you couldn't because you didn't have the... You lied, and now you're cooked. I was so happy the day I met you. So happy the day I met you. And it's, you know, that 10 years later, I'm just going, whatever. Go to jail, don't go to jail, I don't know. Stuff. Also, I mean, I hope he gets help. Honestly, yeah, like, I hope he gets help after this. Like, if he can even come back, this, I don't know. Tyler, imagine a bunch of government agents carrying Brett Howard. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's... Doing the kid it wasn't worth all this, man. Now when I've seen what you can pull from a con. His, let alone bring me their fee is a lot. I have a doctor again at, well, it's 2:15 right now. I have a doctor's appointment at 3:45. Hopefully give myself some antibiotics. I probably should be. Can't even travel anymore. What is his legacy? Is it that tournament? Are you gonna look back at stuff he did? Are they gonna say Cons is a viable? I'm hurt though, in a way, but it's so much that you just kind of, I don't know. There's too many harsh consequences. Too much is isn't too much, and I hadn't even brought up the fact that he was bringing JDF's son that's friggin' out on, like, bullying some 16-year-olds and stuff. Like, not a good person. We see, though. I guess in the end it all. So, anyhow, I gotta go. I'm dying here. So thank y'all for hanging out. I really, really do appreciate it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think is his sentencing and whatever will be. I'm gonna write this down so I can cover some stuff. I'm gonna take it down once I'm done, and then I will re-upload this. So just heads up, I will take this down, and then I'm gonna I'll edit it just a little bit. Probably take out some coughs, and I will upload it later tonight for anybody who missed part of it, or just for anyone else who wants to see. So, big shout out and Resilient for sending me these. Appreciate it. Give him a follow. He's been bringing light to this. When he brought he bought the files, he bring us some actual evidence, actual truth, and a lot of what's actually going on. So I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for sending them to me. And y'all just have a good day. Love each other. Be good to each other. One kind thing today, you know. You got the grocery store, hold door open for an old lady. Just be kind. The world needs more kindness. So if you know what's on today, I love you. See you in the next video. Doodles Ranger Nation!